Hi y'all, this is Dina and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am going to be talking about the transition between the Good and the Beautiful's Level K primer and their Level K. Dun dun dun. So stay tuned. Okay, well, if you are new, welcome to my channel, Pursuing Peace. My name is Dina and I am a homeschooling mom of 5 kiddos, 6 and under. And on this channel, I share my passions for Christ, for homeschooling, and encouraging mamas in their faith and in this crazy but amazing season of motherhood. So if you'd like to join me on this journey, then click the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to click the little bell icon also, so that way you know whenever new videos pop up. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Dina_pursuing_peace if you'd like to keep up to date and see what we do on a daily basis. All right, first of all, guys, right off the bat, I want to let you know I am not an expert. This is all completely my opinion. I don't have like a certified teacher's license or anything like that. This is just a mama who has learned a few things throughout the years. I have experience with this curriculum because I just love it so much. And so I am doing this just because I want to be able to help you guys. So please, please, please don't just take my word for it. I mean, pray about it, ask God for guidance, and He will guide you on what to do with your specific child, because every child is different. So I just wanted to say that. Now, one of my sweet subscribers, Dominique, asked me to make this video, and I was like, yeah, why have I not done this already? Because I know that this topic is a topic that has kept many a mama awake at night, worrying if they are going to ruin their child because they're going to push them too hard, or this curriculum is not going to work for them. And I just want to encourage you mamas. I was in the same place when we first started, and I was so scared to get something that would be bad for my child. And I just want to encourage you guys, there is no right or wrong answer here. If you do get a curriculum, whether it's the Good and the Beautiful or whether it's something else, if you do get a curriculum that is just not working and you try and it's just not working, then just change it. And that's completely okay. That is okay for you to do that, because you need to do what is best for your family. And please know that it is okay to change things up in the middle of the school year. Just because you bought a curriculum at the beginning of the year doesn't mean it has to be the same curriculum that you end up with at the end of the year. So I want to help calm y'all's hearts in that if you do start with this and it doesn't work, that's okay. And your child is still so little that, you know what, they might not even remember. Just know that whether you do, whether you don't, in the long run, it's gonna be okay. So I put out a post on YouTube and on Instagram asking you guys for questions about this specifically, and I got some great feedback. So I'm going to answer those questions in just a bit. So first off, I want to explain these real quick to you. So the first one is a Level K primer. So this is meant to be a transition from the pre-K, from the Good and the Beautiful, to their Level K. And now I have a whole video about the Level K primer itself and a review on it. And I'm going to link that down in the description box so that way you can go and check this out. You can see what is inside along with a supplement that goes to this, and a little booklet that goes with it. So if you have any questions specifically about the primer, go ahead and check that video out. Now, the Level K, there are 2 editions of the Level K. The second edition, which looks like this, you see it's nice and curly and stuff. And then the third edition, which is a little bit, if you can see, it's just a little bit fancier. And I know that I've seen on some Facebook pages that some people actually have the second edition, but it says on the inside that it's the third edition. So kind of keep that in mind if you bought yours either secondhand or when the Good and the Beautiful was trying to push those out for the third edition. So just keep that in mind, because that can be super confusing when people are talking back and forth about the different editions. But today I am going to talk specifically about the 3rd edition, their latest edition. I do have a comparison video between the 2nd edition and the 3rd one, and I will link that one down below so you can check that out and see what are some of the differences between the 2 editions. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about the 3rd edition is, and I want to be careful about this because I don't want you to feel like you have to buy the 3rd edition if you already have the 2nd one. But if the 2nd one is not working for you, the 3rd one is worth the money. My first child, she is an amazing reader. She is 2 levels above her reading level, but even then, the old edition was a hard one to go through for her. Like, to the point where we almost switched because there was a serious gap between the primer and the level K. Like, the primer is so colorful and so engaging, and then the level K was just kind of, well, here's your information. It was just kind of a letdown, really. If you have the old edition and it's not working for you, then I would say give the new edition a try because it was a game changer for us. So real quick, before I get into the questions, I want to share with you guys what your child needs to know when they're going into the level K from the primer. They do not need to know their long vowel sounds because those will be kind of taught a lot more in the level K, so don't worry about that. If they haven't mastered those yet, that's okay. They do need to be able to blend the letter sounds together, at least like 2-letter words. If they can do that, then they should be fine, especially for the first few lessons. I would also highly recommend, if you have not done this already, to get them going on the beginner books. We did that in the primer and we did it throughout the summer. And it was such a great kind of jumping off point for him to start the level K program. So yes, so beginner books would be awesome. Another question that I see a lot of is, do I need a separate handwriting or is that included in the level K? And it is not included in the level K. There is some handwriting in there, like for different questions that they need to answer. But it's not like a handwriting course. But The Good and the Beautiful has another handwriting level K curriculum that you can get that is really, really great. Another thing is the B versus D thing. You know, the lowercase b versus the lowercase d. Does your child need to know that going into level K? And they do not. They will kind of teach that in there a little bit more. So even if they can't tell the difference quite yet, then you're still good to go to start on level K. So really the only thing that your child absolutely needs to know before starting level K is the common sounds for most of the letters. So like all the short vowel sounds and then just all the common sounds for the consonants. And they need to be able to start blending them together. Again, it doesn't need to be 3-letter words, 4-letter words that they're reading, but it can be 2-letter words just as long as they understand the concept of, you know, the sounds of these letters make words, because that's something that they are going to be doing right off the bat in the first lesson of level K. All right, so now that I have answered those questions that I kind of see all the time, then let's go ahead and get into the more specific questions that I got asked on Instagram and on YouTube. Later on in this video, I'm also going to be showing you a lesson from The Good and the Beautiful, and we were about halfway through the book, so it's going to be a lesson right in the middle. So stay tuned for that also. If I butcher any of y'all's names, I am so sorry. The first question I got was from Cassie, and I don't know if, and that's on Instagram. I don't know if that's 2 names or 1, so I'm sorry, but she asked, did your child ever start to resist reading even after he finished primer? And yes, the short answer to that is yes. So I have a video about that, and it's our mid-year kindergarten update, and I will link that one down below, but I go into a lot more detail about him specifically and how he acted towards that and what are the things we did to help fix it. Like I said, I will leave that below, and I believe it's around like 9 minutes and 40 seconds that I start talking specifically about that. But I hope that that answers your question a little bit more, I don't know, specifically, I guess. The next question I have is from Elva, and she's wondering about moving on to level K, but she's also looking at the K4 curriculum from Confessions of a Homeschooler, and she asked if she should try both. Now, y'all, if you have watched any of my videos, you know that I love Confessions of a Homeschooler. We use their Letter of the Week program for my preschooler, and there have been a few times that I have wanted to get her K4 curriculum also, but I have not gotten it, so I have no experience with that curriculum. So this would be one of those things where just you kind of have to gauge your child and see if you think they can handle both. Now, I don't want to say not to get both because every child is different. And so sometimes they need more, or sometimes you can, alternate and do it, 1 week do this, 1 week do that, 1 week do this. So that is also an option. But my usual recommendation is if you are going to do level K from the Good and the Beautiful, then I usually don't recommend, and again, guys, I'm not an expert, but I usually don't recommend doing anything else with it. Unless your child has specific needs that you need to be met. But the level K is so comprehensive and there's so much in it that I just feel, in my opinion, it would be overwhelming to try to do a few different things along with it. It's already a mental workout for them to do a lesson from the level K that you probably won't need anything else. But again, if you get to a point where you can't move on, if you get to a point where you need something else, then get the K4 from Confessions of a Homeschooler, or get something else to supplement. Or if you need a break from the level K and you want to keep doing something, then do that. So it really is up to you. And I know that's not a wonderful answer, but mama, you know your child best. You can feel when it's getting too much for them. Oh, Elva, and you also asked if the K4 curriculum from Confessions is a lot of prep work, and it probably is, because you would just get a digital document and you'd have to print it all out, and then if there's cutting involved and different things. Again, I don't have any specific experience with that curriculum, but her Letter of the Week program did take a lot to set up, but I think it was worth it. So it's completely up to you. Okay, so another question that I have is from Lana, my sweet subscriber, Lana. She says, my daughter is breezing through the level K, but I struggle with the flashcards. Do you just flash them and the sound, and she says the sounds, and you move on? So this is a good way to kind of introduce the flashcards. So one of the big differences from the primer to the level K is that you start using flashcards and they start reading sight words. And there is a lot more emphasis on reading. So in pre-K and in the primer, your child is learning their basic short vowel sounds and long vowel sounds. In the K, pretty quickly, they start learning that the vowels not only have 2 sounds, but a few of them have 3 or 4 sounds. And Lana, you're not alone. A lot of people, including myself at first, didn't quite know how to treat them, didn't quite know how to attack them. Some people just don't teach them that at all. I wouldn't recommend that, because in my experience, teaching them those flashcards has been really important and really great, because for instance, A says a, and ah, as in father. And then later on, you'll actually learn that A has more sounds. And I'm just like, what? Like, how did I ever learn how to read? How did this ever happen? English is the craziest language. But it is important that they know all of those steps. At least in my opinion, it is. Because when words with those sounds come up, then I can say, oh, this is when A says ah, or this is when Y sounds like an I, and it makes sense to him. And it makes sense to my older child too. And they were reading well, because the flashcards slowly introduce things that will be taught later on in the course. All right, say a, a, ah.
Ah.
Good job. Okay, and now this one
is E.
E. So when I show you this card, I want you to say E.
E.
Good. Now with this letter, say
I.
That's right. And what's the short vowel sound for I? I. So I. Now O has 4 different sounds. Okay? And yeah, like you're 4. That's right. So when I show you this, I want you to say A, O, U, A. A, O, U, A. When you say it fast, it sounds like a monkey. A, O, U, A, A, O, U, A, A, O, U, A.
It sounds like a monkey.
Say it one more time. A, O, U, A. Lahana also said, I browsed through the book, and when I got to the end, I was like, ah! Will she really be that advanced in reading at the end of the course? And oh girl, I did the same thing. I looked at the back and I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that he will be reading that. But he is on track. We are now halfway through the book and he is right on track. I am super surprised and impressed with that. And I did nothing extra. We just did what the curriculum said to do. I just have him read the mini books and the beginner books, and now we're starting to read the reader. So I'm there with you, Lana. I am there with you. So just take it day by day. Okay, and Dominique, so she asked, I heard primer is more hands-on and more fun than level K. Is this true? It was true. Like I was saying earlier, with the 2nd edition, we struggled, y'all. It was so hard to keep going. And my little girl constantly was saying, but this is so boring. This is so boring. And that was so hard for me to hear because the level K primer was so good. And I was just kind of shocked that the level K was kind of just, you know? And so, but there's good news. The 3rd edition, and I knew it. I knew people at Good and the Beautiful know what they're doing. The 3rd edition is so good. And that's why I say the 3rd edition is worth its money, because it is just so much better. It's a great transition from the level K primer. She also said, my child did great with primer. Is the level of difficulty a lot higher? The Good and the Beautiful is an advanced curriculum. So by the end of level K, you're going to be doing 1st grade work. So it's really important just to go at their pace. Like, I don't know if he's going to finish it for the end of this kindergarten year. If he doesn't, then we'll just take it into his 1st grade year. And that's okay. Because the important thing is that your child learns these foundational steps before moving on, because it's all building blocks. And if they miss a step, then it's going to hurt them in the long run. So take your time, day by day, follow their pace. Alexandra asks, we just finished primer and the jump from primer to level K seems pretty intense. Did you find it to be that way? Level K seems very advanced. And it is. It is, like I said before, an advanced curriculum. And I talk about this a little bit in my mid-year update video, and how we stopped for a little bit. Once we got to the end of Unit 1, I explained a little bit on there about what we did in the meantime, kind of just waiting until he was a little bit more ready to keep going. Okay, Liz asks, do you feel the Good and the Beautiful primer and level K curriculum in general can be adapted for kids who just don't care for all the extra frill and stories? She said earlier that her 4-year-old is very to the point and gets it and just wants to move on. And yeah, it can. My boy is kind of the same way. I know in the level K they have a whole section where it's kind of like a read aloud from the book Bobby and the Big Road. He was just not very interested in that one. But we did it and just kind of moved on from there. And so yeah, but you can choose to do it, or you can choose not to do those sections of it. Or you could just read ahead and kind of give him the bullet points and move on. Because the important thing is that he's getting it. If he's getting it, great, just move on. Okay, Rachel She says, I'm a little worried because my daughter is struggling with blending and reading 3-letter words. Should I start level K or should I try something else? And Rachel, I would say definitely try to maybe over the summer or something, have your daughter read the beginner books. The beginner books box A. We did that. And it was so good as far as building confidence. They have really small words in there, a lot of 2-letter words. There are some 3-letter words that you can always just help her kind of get through that. And sometimes it's just kind of a phase, like they just don't get it. But if you do it and keep doing it, not like in a pushing them kind of way, but in a okay, well, let's read with mommy kind of way, then at some point it'll click. It'll click, and then all of a sudden they'll just kind of take off with it. And so, but I did look it up, and level K, they don't start reading 3-letter words until lesson 6. So you do have a little bit of time before it starts to get into 3-letter words. So those are my 2 recommendations, is that maybe start on the beginner books and kind of get her familiar with that. And then once you start on level K, then just take it slowly. And you never know, maybe once you do get to those 3-letter words, then maybe she'll be ready to go. Judith asks, do they learn sight words in the primer or do they begin in level K? And yes, there are at least 2 or 3, if I can remember correctly, sight words in the primer. I believe it's the word the and the word see. And I don't know if there's a 3rd one, but that's basically just so they're able to read the little book that comes with it. But The Good and the Beautiful focuses a lot on phonics and learning why words sound the way that they do instead of straight out sight words, which I really appreciate. But there are more sight words in level K. But I guess your child would learn the concept of a sight word in the primer, if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. So Felicia asks, how different is the level K from the primer? Does it move too quickly? Does it spiral back to things that are introduced like the primer and Math K? Yes, it spirals back, which is one of the reasons I love The Good and the Beautiful. It's very much of a spiral approach where you're learning something and your child doesn't have to master it right then and there. It kind of moves on into something else and then it comes back to it later on. And I love that because it gives the child time to kind of absorb that concept, and then it comes back and then they kind of learn a little bit more about it, and then it gives them time again and it'll come back again. We already talked about a little bit about the differences between the 2. Does it move too quickly? I don't think it does, especially the 2nd edition. I don't think it moved too quickly. They definitely heard people when they were saying, it's just going too fast. And so they slowed that down. Like I said earlier, 3-letter words aren't even introduced until lesson 6. And I think we are on lesson 65 or something like that. And the silent E is barely being introduced. And so it's a very gentle process. Now again, it is advanced, so it does move more quickly than a few other curriculums, but again, you can just go at your child's pace. So I would encourage all of you, don't be scared if it is going too fast, because you can just slow down and maybe not do a whole lesson, split a lesson into 2 days, or just kind of go with the flow of your child. Your child is still super young, so you can afford to do that. Another question from Felicia is, how are the spelling words taught and practiced? The spelling words are practiced in a variety of ways. There's a few different ways, and in the lesson that I'm going to show you in just a bit, you'll see kind of a way that they do it. But spelling for The Good and the Beautiful, at least I have found it is part of the curriculum that I'm not too happy with. I don't think my kids are getting enough spelling, so I do kind of do something a little bit extra with them. It's not anything crazy, and it's not another curriculum. It's just kind of having them spell the words in different ways every day, because I'm noticing that they are not quite getting it. But I'm going to do kind of a separate video about the whole spelling thing later on. And the last question that Felicia asked is, could you please show us what a typical day's lesson looks like? So I'm going to go ahead and do that I did a do a lesson with us video for the very first lesson. This will be one right in the middle of the book, and I think I'm going to do one at the end of the book to just give you guys kind of an overall view of how the curriculum works and what your child will be learning throughout the whole year. So let's get into the lesson. All right, bub, you ready to do your kindergarten book?
Yep.
All right, so the first thing we do is we do the flashcards, right?
Yep.
He has actually already gone through the entire thing, and we are just going through them again. I figured it would be good practice for him. There you go. Good. Nope, nope. Yeah. Good job, yes. Sorry, yep. Good.
Okay.
What does that say, baby? Can you just say it again? Remember, this says N, and so this says what?
This says N.
N, yeah.
Pen.
Pen. And what does the bottom one say?
Men.
Men. Good job. So now we're going to do your sight words. He has done all of this first page, and he is on this one right here. All right, you ready? And we do the flashcards and the sight word ladders every day. Can you read this? We just started this, so he might not know all of these, but go for it, Bubs.
As.
Or. Good. Are. Are, like, are you coming? Are.
Yeah.
See. Ask. Ask, like asking a question. Good. Far. Car. Remember, far and car sound the same. And it's. Good. Stop it. Okay. So normally when we first start one, I just go through and read it like 2 or 3 times. And then we go through and read it all the times. Once he can, these are pretty easy to sound out compared to like these. And so sometimes I'll just let him sound those out. But like you saw, I help him out also. All right, good job, Bubs. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, so we are on lesson 65. It is pretty much almost right in the middle of this book. Okay, so this is the first time we are learning about silent E. And I wanted to show you kind of an example of what the second edition looked like in this lesson. Now it says lesson 28, but it is right in the middle of this book also. But I mean, just look at the way this is laid out. It's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it did its job, but there's no, I don't know, excitement to it, I guess. But you can already see the difference on how this third version or third edition is laid out and how it's got independent practice. It doesn't ever have independent practice in this book, and the spelling is just all in here. And here the spelling is laid out differently. It's basically just lists, and you do it however you want. But in here the spelling is incorporated, and so it's just really great. It's a good layout. So at first it was taking us a couple of days to do one lesson, but maybe around after unit 1 or after unit 2, it started getting a little bit easier for him. And so he was able to do a lesson in like 20 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes, depending on the length of the lesson. So for the most part, we've been doing a lesson a day. See, here's lesson. They're broken out really well. And there's not a lot in each lesson. So I really, really like that, especially for my boy who can't sit still very long for this. But in this one, some of the lessons are longer, and so this one we have taken 2 days. So I started this one yesterday, and so we're going to try to finish it today for you guys. So we did these 2 things, and then we are right here, And here it says mini books, but we don't actually do the mini book in the lesson. I wait and I have him do that. He reads with Daddy, or he reads with me a little bit later on, because I just don't want him to get overwhelmed with all the reading in one sitting. So, all right, Bubs, you ready? Yeah? Okay. All right, so remember we learned about the silent E, and it does, it has two jobs, right? It's silent sh, and it's what? Ba.
Bossy.
Bossy, right?
Like bossy R.
Like a bossy R, right? It's a bossy E, and bossy E makes the vowel before it say its
Name.
name. That's right. So now we're going to read some more words that have the bossy E in them. So these, you see how they have an E at the end here, right? But
Because
these,
it's bossy E.
well, yes, but these are exceptions. Ready? Repeat after me. Done,
Done.
some,
Some.
have,
Have.
love,
Love.
come. So we are going to read some sentences that have these words in them, okay? And point them out. Let me see if you can find them, okay? So let's read this sentence right here. Ready? Is it in here?
Yeah.
Come. Come, have, some. Now this one has a bossy E, so it's going to say it's going to make the A say its name. Can you say that?
Whoa.
A.
Cames.
Nope.
Cames?
Let's try that again. Okay, ready? K. Yeah. K.
A. E.
K.
Cake. Cake.
Cake. Good. R.
R. Ding. U. Ding. B. R. N.
Is up here? Done.
Done.
Done. Good.
I. Ding. Love. Ding. Ju. Ding. K. R.
Come. This is
Come.
one of the exceptions.
Come.
Come.
Ow. Helm.
No, it's got a bossy E.
Yeah. Helm.
It's got a bossy E.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Home.
Home. Good. Ding, 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 ding. Good job. High five. I know that one was a little bit tough, huh? But it's all right, because practice makes progress. You will get it, Bubs. You are super smart. All right, so now you're going to do the spelling. So let's read these words. Ready? Can you repeat after me? Done.
Done.
Some.
Some.
Have.
Have.
Come.
Come.
Who.
Who.
Do you recognize those words from your spelling?
Yeah. Mama.
Yeah.
Mama, rewind that video to the TV.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so can you figure out, these have missing letters. Can you figure out what words they are? Can you fill in all the missing letters, please? Go for it. Good, but remember, it needs to stay in the house. It needs to stay downstairs if it's a lowercase letter, right?
Yeah.
And that looks like an N. Can you make that look like an H?
It's just jumping.
It's jumping. Okay. Can you make this look like an H, please? Okay, I think the little stick needs to be a little bit higher. Good. Perfect. See how that looks more like an H?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, what's the next one? Go for it. Good job. Well, this was the from the sum. But it's okay. The way you did it was good too. All right. Now, so we did this. We learned about the bossy E. Now, we are going to do this.
1, 2, 3. Ta-da!
Good. So we are going to read the words, and then you can put the cotton balls on the clouds to make them look more like clouds, okay? Okay, good. So we're going to start down here, okay? So what does this word say? Sound it out, please. Tap. Now, if you put a bossy E at the end, a silent E. Now what does it say?
A.
Tape. Good. Go ahead and put a cotton ball there. Good job. What about this one? This got another bossy E.
Bit.
Nope, it's got a bossy E.
Oh. Bite.
Bite. Good. Put a cloud down. Without a bossy E, it's what?
Mad.
With a bossy E, it's what?
Made.
Made. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Last one. Now these are two different words, okay? Two different words. So what's the first word? Give. So this is an exception. Give. Because it's not give, it's give. This is also an exception. Do you remember that one? Have. Good. Yay! Fireworks! Good job, big boy.
Shooting stars.
Yeah, you finished your lesson. All right, you guys, well, I hope that this was encouraging. I hope it answered your questions. If it did not, leave me a comment below again and ask me again, because I just want to be able to help you guys. Please don't ever hesitate to ask me questions. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you know whenever new videos pop up. I am going to be having a Good and the Beautiful unboxing coming up, and I am going to be sharing with you guys what curriculum I have for the 2020-2021 school years. So click the bell icon so you get notified whenever those videos pop up. And let's be friends. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you are having a blessed day, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye. Mom of 5 kiddos, nope, they're not 4 and under. That would be insane. Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel and nope, I already did that. Oh, is it hot? That I was just kind of taken aback. This is hard to do one-handed. Mama's apparently hungry.
Whoa.
Whoa.